Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today I'm going to take a quick look at the Asteroid playing cards from Bicycle. Now, this deck's a standard retail deck, so I found this for $4 in my local store. Definitely one of the more approachable price points for decks. So let's jump into it, find out what it's all about, because I think there's a few elements in here that make it a little bit nicer than your standard rider back deck. Now, starting with the tuck, it's a glossy finish, regular stock to the tuck case, but it is finished with a few elements of foiling as well as embossing on the deck that sort of give it a little bit more of an elevated feel. The classic Bicycle Trusted Since 1885 banner goes across the top, but it is done in bright silver foil. And then you have the large Asteroid with its tail going off behind it, so almost like it's coming right into the camera there, really striking him into the Asteroid, and has Asteroid playing cards at the bottom. If I tilt it here in the light, you may be able to catch that both the Asteroid and the word Asteroid at the bottom are embossed, which is nice. On the sides, you got a little bit more silver foil on the sides with the Asteroid there, and it says air cushion finish made in the USA. Same thing on the other side. Bottom has your ad copy for USPCC, who of course printed the deck, as well as a large barcode. And in the top, a couple more silver foiled Asteroids. The back's going to be an embossed version of the back design of the cards that we'll take a look at in a second. And it's finished out with a black tuck seal, just the standard USPCC one. A little bit more ad copy on the inner flap and nothing printed on the interior of the tuck. So that's the tuck case. Not bad. I do like the embossed elements, always gives it just a little bit nicer of a feel when you pick up the deck. Now the cards themselves, starting with the back design, here it is. Just like we're looking at on the tuck case, features a reflected image of, really simply, an asteroid. Name of the deck is Asteroid, definitely fits with that. So you have the large Asteroid with the kind of explosion of shrapnel going off behind it, and forming just kind of a really striking image here against the black background of the card. So lots of bright orange and yellow fire contrasting with that black background. You can see a little bit of the starry sky in the sides, and finishes out with kind of an irregular looking red border and then the black medium poker border on the outside. So not bad. Not usually a fan of black cards for sure, just because you'll get some chipping around the edges, but the yellow and red is really striking against the black background. I think it's definitely fitting for the design of the cards. On extra cards, you get a pair of Jokers, which again, of course, feature an Asteroid. So just an Asteroid kind of streaking across with the stars in the background. You get a red one and a gray one. Of course, just some slight color variations in the Asteroid, but otherwise the same illustration for the two of them. Just one of them incorporates a little bit more red. So there's your two Jokers. You do get one double backer. Always nice to get a gaff card. And just your plain old boring Bicycle ad card. Now the rest of the deck, and we'll start with the Ace of Spades. So you do get one power ace with the Ace of Spades. Features kind of this large spade pip in the center, almost with a metallic look. I think it's meant to be more like the rock of the Asteroid, kind of that gray charred look. Little accents of orange, which give it kind of a little bit more of a glowing feel. And then you've got the fire of the Asteroid in the center there. And then you've got a standard font pip and index in the corner, done a little bit more in gray to kind of contrast against that black background of the card. And you can see the design of the pip there with kind of a stone, like black and gray look to it, kind of a charred look. And you can see those pips a little bit more on display as we get into the number cards. So there's the pretty standard layout to the pips, but they're that black and white and gray rock, and then finish with a really thin white border just to kind of accent them out. So there's the number cards, and you'll see the same color scheme applied to the custom done quartz. So it's the classic illustration, but the quartz themselves now are done in kind of that black, gray, and white, kind of a stone look to them. Definitely interesting. I wish they hadn't gone with the completely classic illustration for the quartz. But at least they are recolored and kind of fitting with the theme of the deck. Now turning to the red cards, now it's a little bit more orange than red, I would say. The pips are now done. Still that kind of look of stone, but a little bit more of a glowing look with the reds and oranges mixed in there. And the border's been replaced with kind of a thin orange border. I will say as I go through, I do appreciate that the patterns on the pips aren't repeated, meaning this pip and this pip don't have the exact same pattern. So you do get some variation as you go through them. It's a nice touch. And then getting to the quartz, the red and the black quartz really look fairly similar. They both kind of have that gray and black and white rock to them. It's just you've got really faint accents with a little bit more orange. You can see the border here has got a little bit of orange in it to kind of denote this as one of the red quartz. So very slight and subtle differences. And you can see those side by side here if we look at the kings. So that's the cards, and we'll go really quickly here through the clubs. Give you a chance to see the heart quartz real quick. Same kind of design that we've looked at a million times over, and down through finishing with the ace of hearts. So that's the deck. As far as handling, it's a USPCC retail stock. They're going to handle really nicely right out of the box. They fan well, they cut well, so no complaints on that front. Really not much to say that hasn't been said already. USPCC has some really nicely handling decks, so can't complain on that front. As far as usefulness of the deck, it really is just a functional gameplay deck in my mind. You know, it's not a high-end collectible deck. Definitely it handles well enough for cardistry, so if you want to use it for that, great. If you want to use it for Magic, whatever. But really it's just a fun kind of different deck to use for gameplay. I think that's really where this one's going to find its niche. And definitely fitting considering it's a $4 retail deck. So my opinion, definitely, especially if you're not one of those people that really hates black decks, you know, I think it's definitely a deck worth checking out, worth a quick pickup. You know, it's not an expensive deck. We're not talking about like a $30 deck here or anything like that. So for $4, really can't go too wrong with it. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this look at the Asteroid playing cards from Bicycle. Let me know what other decks you want to see. Subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings, and I'll see you for the next one.